really tough climb. It goes straight up to 10%, then it evens off a little bit here, and then it kicks up again to around, I think, 10 to 12%. This is a place, and this is a strategy I think we're seeing from AHDRL here. They have moved off the front with Murphy, McKay, Hurst, all coming through. Davidson there as well. This is definitely planned, I think, because they are pushing hard up this area, which I think lends itself to a perfect little, pre-QOM attack. And it has only managed to drop off one rider there. It looks like Demar from BRT, but it is starting to put some hurt in those legs. And the sad part about this course is there's no recovery. They'll get to the top of this and it's gone up. You can see here 9-10%. After this, it just rolls and rolls and rolls all the way to the QOM, so you don't get much of a chance to recover.
Well, and it's also different on the trainer versus IRL, because IRL you can actually get out of your seat and have those accelerations. Yes, of course you can get out of your seat on the trainer, but Anna, we all know it's not quite the same, and so it does suit riders that are better with seated acceleration. So that often means that some of the riders who are usually less inclined to climb as well, they claw back a little bit of an advantage. So I would say that on these really steep pitches, especially in New York City, that riders like Davidson, it doesn't surprise me, she's really capable of those in-seat accelerations because she's a really powerful rider. And I think these shorter, sharper climbs suit her a lot more than the longer ones do. They're strung out. They're not on the KOM yet. They've still got 8K before they get any real form of recovery, and that's when they go down the descent. But of course, then they've got less than 6K left in the race, so there won't be much recovery going on at that point. They've still got about 7K before they hit that KOM. It's already split to smithereens. Like, we thought this may happen very early on. We knew this would happen on this course, but probably more so. And interesting to see Ange McRae back in the second group there. She was really impressive on the Richmond course and caused a few troubles with a few little digs toward the back end of the race. But this is certainly a course, Anna, that shows who's got good legs and who maybe is having a bit of a softer day. There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah, I mean, this is making me nervous for my racing tomorrow. I've just seen them come off that 10%
that was my
grade.
next question.
Yeah, they've gone down a tiny little downhill and then they're up to 6 watts a kg again, up through that 6%er. So they do, I think, go through a little period over this lake area of, slightly 0%, but then you kick up again. So this is a select group of women in this top group, around 7, and unfortunately BRT have been the losers in that little attack, 3 of those riders dropping off. As we're in with the men now, it looks like they're just hitting their first KOM, and we'll come back to the women when they hit their second and decisive QOM. But here are the men, and it looks, the players we thought we'd see. You've got ZWC, DPAC, and the Relentless guys. Always good to see them out. I'll be very interested to see what their strategy is today, because as we know, Anarchy and Chaos probably the best suited to this kind of a course.
Well, it's a very different character to the women's racing, simply because of the field size. So if you're not a brilliant climber in the men, you can actually afford to start toward the front and drift back a bit and be guaranteed of a wheel, because we can see that the peloton size is much larger. But Greg Grosicki, he had a technical fault in the team's time trial last week. Anna, you called it. Where's Greg? What's happened to Greg? Normally we would see him up there pushing
I'm watching
hard.
that again.
I reckon
Yeah,
I reckon he might be a bit frustrated. So I'd love to see him up there. And Brian Duffy Jr., of course, from Relentless, he was really impressive in Richmond. I saw him right up the front at the beginning of the climb. He's one of the riders, I think, who will use the opportunity to start up the front and hang on some wheels. And maybe if the back end, and we're watching him there, bites him a little bit, he may be able to drift back and get some good wheels. But I'd certainly be watching him. And listen, Sam Lindsay from DPAC as well, Anna. I think he might
Sam
be
Lindsay.
sneaky on today's course.
I think he's going to sneak one, and not just because he's a Kiwi. I mean, obviously, love that there's a Kiwi out there.
Yeah,
But
look, I think we're allowed bias here. We can do that.
I will be totally biased. I know that's a not a thing a commentator should do, but I love seeing the Kiwis. He's racing quite late at night here. It's nearing on 10 o'clock at night. He was second in the scratch race around Richmond, so he can obviously climb. And I haven't seen Grosicki yet. I've seen Cantanzaro, Duffy Jr., but as yet not Krasicki, and he was first in Richmond. So, Sam Lindsay, he's already looking on form. As we see some aero power-ups being dropped by a ZWC rider here, they performed very well in the team time trial, and they did unfortunately drop someone off in one of the climbs in there, and they finished with 5 riders, which wasn't ideal, but it looks as though there are some little attacks going on. Power-ups been dropped everywhere. They're just coming into this last sort of big hits up to around 12 to 14%. I think this is really brutal after the climbing they've done. And I've just seen Grosicki. He's moving his way to the front now. One of our fave riders here, he always lights it up, and he wouldn't have wanted to be sitting in the pack for long. They're moving ahead. Looks like Lindsay. So the Kiwi out with 11.6 watts per kg and a feather. He's moving ahead. He is definitely motivated to get these points on offer at the top. And you can see he's just coming in with the arch now. But IKD from ZWC 2 seconds back. I think Lindsay will have it though. I think just you can see there he's really gapped the pack. Motivation isn't high probably because they know they're going to catch him up pretty soon. Looks like could have been Grosicki just there over IKD, who is a great rider actually, who was 4th in the first race in this WTRL Zwift Racing League series. So he's no joke. He knows how to sprint as well.
Let's look at the replay here. Your boy Lindsay, he dropped a power up at the perfect time and he sailed ahead. My advice, Lindsay, take it easy. You only need to win by a single centimetre here to take those points. He can take a bit of a breather now. Grosicki, that was a sneaky push over the line. I don't know if we can call that for second, but Grosicki and IKD, they were both super impressive in Richmond. They went for the push across that line. We'll get those results in when we can, but a very clear on form Sam Lindsay from DPAC, relentless. Duffy Jr. and Cantanzaro, they were up there the whole time. They've obviously got good legs, as well as Grosicki. So I would say relentless in the box seat at the moment in terms of the early form that they've shown us. Few gaps here. This is a smaller front group that has formed, but again, like the women, look, we've only got a 4-second gap back to the chasers here, and so I think just like the ladies, Anna, will probably see them come back together, and it's a much bigger group here that we're going to see come together than we did in the ladies. So again, we mentioned the difference in the racing just based on the field size, and we can see that happening in action here. O'Connell from WTRL, now he rode really well from the Pioneers in Richmond as well with his teammate Ras.
Yeah, 5th place.
So it'll be good to see them back
5th.
up there.
And what is really interesting as well is I've seen Churuk out there. So we'll follow back with the men soon. But Daniel Churuk, a professional rider for Israel Cycling Academy, is in the men's field. But all action here as we hit this last QOM in the women's race. Looks like we're down to about a 7-rider lead group. A couple have dropped off the back during those rollers. And Kath McKay leading the charge with Shaw there as well. Reed, who we've picked early, could be our sort of rider to watch up this last climb. Hurst, Willocks, Davidson. But I know that Willocks and Hurst, I believe, were dropped on the first climb. So whether they're saving power or they just don't quite have the legs, I guess we're going to find out pretty soon.
Yeah, so the KOM is just past the 25k mark. So they've got a little bit to go up here. Now, you're right, I think that Reed has pretty good legs, but we know that Davidson has a really strong kick on her at the finish as well. They just need to seriously bite the handlebars here, chew their stem, if that's what you want to say, and just get to the top here. Because if they can get over the top, Anna, within sniffing distance of the lead, that is all they need. Clark is chasing everything she can to chase back on here, and look at the difference this makes. These little pushes they kick up to the 16%, this can make a really big difference. In saying that, she bridges almost there. Oh, it's heartbreaking to watch this. Geez, the lungs are burning in that one. But look at Shaw at the front, dropping that feather power up too. This is a move. You don't drop a power up by accident. She's really making a move here, over 5 watts per kilo, and she's been really impressive the entire race, Anna, and she's certainly trying her very best. But that gap isn't opening up, I think, as she hoped. We've still got 5 or 6 within distance, and that's all they need to go over the top. They're not too far
Yeah.
from the KOM now.
Look at those stats we just saw from Shaw as well. She was up around the 180 beats, but what I was interested in, around 90 RPM. So yeah, she's hovering around 90. Now what that tells me is she's gone with a strategy of a bit of a lower trainer difficulty, so that she can sort of spin her legs out a bit more up these climbs. Because as you see, McKay here, she's around that cadence of 68 to 70, so she's probably at around 50% trainer difficulty. I'll hazard a guess. So this is also something that plays in with strategy here. It doesn't impact your power output. There's no impact there. It just means that you can hold a higher cadence. You don't need to change gears as much. And on these kind of a climbs, just even changing gear and losing a bit of that momentum and power can make quite a difference. So, well played here by Shaw. I think she's played the technology well. Like I said, it doesn't impact the power output. It just maybe helps with keeping that momentum high. Bit of a tip
But
for
it's
those
yeah,
racing in the next few days.
yeah, I agree. That's a brilliant tip because I think it really goes to the style of rider it is. Because the riders with a little bit more grunt in their legs who prefer the lower cadences, they can crank that trainer difficulty up, and it almost forces the higher power into their legs. I certainly find I'm not somebody who can climb at a high cadence, and so I like a high trainer difficulty because it forces me to get out of my seat and keep producing those higher powers. And Davidson, I would say, is certainly one of those riders. So it's really interesting to see Shaw pedaling away. 95 cadence up here at 12%. That is smooth, putting out a lot of consistent power. 186 heart rate. She's absolutely on the
Wow.
limit. But can we give a gold star to Dana Davidson, not too far behind, because we know if she can just go over within distance, that's a really good position. So Shaw takes the win there. She's 4 odd seconds up on Davidson, 6 seconds in the end there. But we've got a little chase group forming already here with Hurst, Mackay and Reed. We've talked about how we think Reed's going for the overall. We talked also, Anna, I love it when it feels like they're listening to us. We talked about how Reed just needed to go over the top with a group and hang on, because it's about 6K down, or 6 or 8K down to the finish now. So Shaw, I would say, Anna, she's in a pretty tough spot here. She's only got a 3-second lead on Davidson, who we know has a lot of punch, and a chasing group only 14 seconds behind. 14 seconds in one instance is a lot, but Dana Shaw's going to need this power tuck and a little bit more to stay away from them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's a hard downhill to stay in super tuck. This one's a bit better actually than the first climb. The first climb really just flattens off too much, but you can see there you can't super tuck the whole way down, so you can't get that recovery. And I don't know what Danette Shaw's strategy is here. She's been aggressive all day. I'd almost give her the most aggressive rider award. I think I will actually. Yeah, I will give her the aggressive rider award for
Yeah,
tonight. She's been out the front
at this
putting in
point in the
attacks.
race, she's definitely proven that and earned it. But look at this, Davidson is coming up hot on her heels. She's a little bit of a heavier rider, so that gives her a bit of an advantage on the descents, but it will be much better for these two riders to be together and to be able to work together.
And unfortunately, I do think that they may be a little bit too far ahead of that chase group now, which is only 3. So if you have 2 at the front taking some turns and you've got 3 behind, only 12 seconds back, if Davidson and Shaw are motivated, and they could be, because Shaw's got no teammates in that chase group. So again, we're coming down to some really interesting team strategies, because you've got Shaw from Z-Sun. She's got no teammates anywhere. The next one's 1 minute back. Then you've got Davidson, AHDR. But then you got 3 AHDR riders chasing in the group back, as well as Jen Reed from Aero. Unfortunately for Jen Reed, again, I don't know what AHDR are doing, because if they're wanting Dana Davidson to take the win, they should not be doing any work. You should have the Aero rider out front chasing. She's the one who needs to be chasing, because she's the one who's dropped off and she's got no teammates. But it's I don't know how this is going to play out. They've pulled in now. They're just 11 seconds back, and they're going to be wanting to catch up to those 2 at the front. But what's the motivation? You've got to say Dunette's got to go all in now.
Well, let's just take a look at the bonus sprints so far. Danette Shaw, she has won all 3 intermediates, the 2 KOMs, and that sprint. She's on 15 points. Dana Davidson on 11th. They are our 2 riders out the front together. Kath McKay on 8th. Jen Reid on 4. And another one, Danette Shaw just took that sprint ahead of Davidson. So that will actually bump her up to 20. We'll get an update on that when we can. Davidson going across in 2nd. We know who has good legs. Mackay going across in 3rd, Hurst in 4th, Jen Reid going across in 5th. So the points aren't particularly tight in the intermediate. I mean, it is really showing who's got good form and who is struggling behind a little bit. But at this point, Shaw is certainly doing the lion's share of the work. She's won all 4 intermediates to date. Davidson has been not too far behind her. We do know, especially we saw in Richmond, that Davidson has a really big turn of speed. So wasn't that interesting that Shaw took those points ahead of her in the intermediate sprint? It doesn't necessarily mean she's got better sprint legs, but it may mean that Davidson is in fact just holding on, holding the wheel, not putting too much effort in, because she really wants to get those 40 points at the finish. So let's take a look now. Those points have been updated. Shaw taking all 4 on 20 points for Z Sun. Dana Davidson for Ace of Cakes on 15. Kath Mackay, Ace of Cakes on 11. Their team is in absolute driving seat at the moment. Aeroflyers with Jen Reid on 5 points. Kim Hurst on 5 points from Ace of Cakes. Kelly Murphy, Ace of Cakes on 2. Kim Willocks, Ace of Cakes on 2. I am not on repeat. You are actually hearing me live, but Ace of Cakes, they have 5 of the riders in the top 7. So they're certainly in plum position. And Z Sun
And it looks,
with Shaw and Reid with Aeroflyers. I mean, they're up against it, but they're doing a pretty good job.
And it does look as though they probably will end up getting caught. They're just about 5 seconds back and they are in sight. But I do just want to mention here, I've got some comments coming through across the social media. And Shaw's nickname is actually the aggressive giraffe. So we called it right, the most aggressive rider. She's an aggressive giraffe. I don't know the story behind it, but there we go. I love that nickname.
Yep.
Maybe she's... can sprint coming in well, but who knows? If we can hear the story of why she's a giraffe, that would be great. And we'll just have a look here at the replay of that second sprint. The men's coming through now. It's just a replay of, looks like they were heading towards just a little bit of a break here with Ginn out in front, riding about 6 watts per kg with Grosicki, motivated as always, riding around 4 watts, just
Anna,
this is 1 second back.
This is Drew Ginn attacking off the front. He's an Olympic gold medalist in rowing, very famous in Australia. We love him. He's got a heart like Phar Lap, to keep the animal analogies going. And he's certainly, he's not a rider that you want to let go at all, because he's an absolute diesel, and once he gets a little bit of a gap, he will just go and go and go. So we're looking at Greg Grosicki now. He's our boy from Relentless, and we missed him last week when he had a bit of a tech failure in the team's time trial, because he's been such a character out there. But in fact, the whole Relentless team, Anna, have been really impressive, because Duffy Jr. and Cantanzaro have also been very impressive. But from the Pioneers, O'Connell, he's also had some really stand-up results and was on very good form in Richmond. It's a pretty tight top end, not only for the teams, but also the individuals in this men's A. So I'm excited to see what plays out in the second half of this race, because they're already getting pretty antsy.
Yeah, 14.5 kilometres in, and I'm surprised that, they're allowing little breakaways to happen. There's a big bunch there, a very big bunch. But we do know those Relentless guys, they come from a background in long course triathlon. As we see here, replay of the sprint in the men's race, looks like Dave from Evo may have taken that out, with Grosicki coming in very quickly behind. And maybe another DPAC rider there, Pacheco or Mitch. Yeah, looks like ZWC took that out. There was we'll see the sprint points soon, but that was a very, very wild sprint with a huge string out behind them. Things have settled down now. Looks like they're sort of averaging around that 3.5 to 4 watts per kg. I think all the action's going to happen now when they hit that second climb, which is, about 10 kilometres away.
Yeah, so let's take a
And
look
you
at
can
those
see
bonus
there,
points to date. We've got Grasicki from Relentless on 6 points. Monrich, ZWC Attack on 5. Sam Lindsay also on 5. Cheem from Evo Savages on 4. Uh, IKD from ZWC Attack on 4. We saw him go over that first KOM really well. Duffy Jr. also great on that first KOM on 2. Pacheco on 2. From Peta Z1, we've got Goyini on 1, and taking out that other 1 point is Kanji Stinger from ZWC Attack. If we look at this, Anna, we can see, well, on the screen, we've got Morgan from DPAC making a move and attacking. He's got Sam Lindsay, of course, he went over the KOM like he had a rocket on the back of his bike. So I think that DPAC are going out there planning on being pretty aggressive. I mean, from everything we've seen so far, that's the only thing we can assume.
now are they doing a 1-2 here? Because you can see Deepak Rider coming over, and then it looks like O'Connell from WTRL has pulled ahead of him with a drafting power up. Interesting use of that at this time of the race. Maybe just wanted to get rid of it and would get another one through that banner, but there's something going on here with this DPAC crew. They've gone for that first one, like you said. This is a bit of a hero effort off the front. He's pushing up around that 5 watts per kg. They really are trying to mix it up a little bit. And you've got a ZWC rider, and so maybe they're just trying to, entice the riders to chase them. Like I know you mentioned when we talked about it in the women's race, and just burn a few legs before they hit that sky path again.
Well, the funny thing is, we sit here as commentators trying to put reason into every rhyme that we see. But I don't know about you in your Zwift racing, which you've done a lot of, but certainly in my IRL racing, there are moments where you found yourself in a breakaway or attacking, and somebody would say on the radio, "What are you doing?" And you didn't really have an answer. It's just almost a bit of a brain fluff where you end up kind of putting a bit too much power into the pedals, and you end up with a bit of a gap, and then you go, well, I may as well go with it. So we're going to head back and check the women out, because they are coming into the final. So 34.4k total there at the 33 kilometre mark. A little bit of cat and mouse going on here, because they're not at very high speed. Yes, the road is ticking up, as the whole race has done so far, Anna, but I think that they're just all now waiting for the sprint. They've got a group of 5 there, led by Shaw, who has been the absolute beacon in the race thus far. She's won all 4 intermediate sprints. You reckon that Reed's got good legs and has been sort of sitting back and waiting for this final? I certainly think that Davidson is a very tough one to beat in a bunch sprint. They're both there. Aero Flyers for Jay Reed, and of course Shaw with Zed Sun are very outnumbered by the women from the Ace of Cakes. So let's see what they are going to do coming into this final. I would imagine that the Ace of Cakes do a lead out for Davidson.
Yeah, I mean, look at Reed there. She was just sort of sitting there in the back. She's doing no work. She's just tucked right in there to the AHDR rider. This is a tricky finish to the race, though. Having recce'd it, it's sort of at 0% now, but then it goes into a bit of a false flat. I mean, a false flat downhill, a very gradual downhill, which actually makes it quite hard to get away. But in the Prem Women's race this morning, we saw an attack, probably from about now. So if any of these women have watched that race, maybe they're going to give that a go, because that rider just got away and finished with daylight behind her. And I think, I always feel nervous at this point in a race, because it almost feels twitchy. You've got the AHDR riders just sort of moving to the front. Reed here, she's just playing it so well. She is tucking in. We see the watts going up here from McKay, 5.8. This is definitely an attack coming in now, and I think you're right. I think this is a concerted team effort here to pull away, and you've got one sitting on the back boxing in the other 2. This is perfect team strategies here from AHDRL as they're heading into this last 400 meters.
And I would love the Ace of Cakes to just string it out and go absolutely flat out for Davidson to try and get that extra 5 points in that buffer, because of course there's 40 points for the win, 35 for second. So Hurst is accelerating early. She's certainly picking up the pace. 54 kilometres an hour. They are not wasting any time. But Shaw is hot on her heels. She's not letting anybody go a single metre. Reed, they're certainly playing games with her, Anna, and they're dropping that off a bit, but they're out of the seat going for the finish.
That's insane wattage there from D Shaw, 12.6 watts per kg. But as we see, a great power up here from McKay. And I think it was very close, but I think she may have gone over just over the top of Shaw, who just unfortunately had a drafting power up, so couldn't quite use it. But oh wow, that was a very quick and impressive finish from, I believe, McKay might have taken that out. So it wasn't our girl Reed, but here we go with the replay. That was just and that happened so quickly. You can see here Shaw using the drafting power up, but very quickly you see Davidson come through. So that's actually amazing that McKay, with the arrow there, just coming up onto the wheel of Shaw on the pink Tron bike there, and she has edged over, and that banner is right there. That was perfection from McKay to take out over Shaw, our giraffe rider with the nickname, it's because she's so tall, I've been told now, who came in second. Most
giraffe rider. I love that, our giraffe rider. I actually think Davidson went a little bit early there, and McKay certainly saved it for the Ace of Cakes, and they had a lot of options. But sure, what an impressive ride. I mean, all day she showed us that she had very good giraffe legs on her, and certainly takes out the most aggressive. And she will take the points overall. I think we'll get those results when we can. Over to the men's now. A bit of a breakaway here. They're back up on the slopes because, well, pretty much the whole course is up and down, and not a lot of rest for the wicked, so to speak. And Uskwa, let's call them that, USKW, the Japanese rider on the front, O'Connell and Morgan in there, the three of them. So we've got the Pioneers, DPAC, and ZWC. This is an interesting little breakaway, Anna, because the three of these riders have been away. You know, they're not necessarily riding that well together, are they?
No, you can see their work, ZWC. So WTRL, Pat O'Connell, not happy with ZWC not putting in any work. But, you know, this is the name of the game, you know. Why are you breaking off? And then he's saying he's working. Oh, I love it. The fact that they're able to type and be riding at 6.3 watts a kg. I mean, my phone is just completely covered in sweat. I can barely even, like, get my finger to get traction on it. So, one, impressive they're typing. Again, take turns. Yeah. So it looks like WTRL and DPAC are against that ZWC rider. This is not a cohesive front unit.
I mean, is there anything more passive-aggressive, Anna, than the angry typing that happens mid-race on Zwift? And I actually reckon there'd be some fabulous typos too, as the sweat would change a few letters. But, you know, it just goes to show how frustrated riders get whenever they feel like everybody's not pulling their weight. Because breakaways only stay away if the riders decide that they're going to work together. Never has a break stayed away where people have been faffing around. Now, it was interesting, the Japanese rider from ZWC replying, I'm working. You know, maybe he was out of his seat, taking a drink, doing something, and it's very reactive in game, and it looked like he wasn't. I don't know. I mean, we looked at the replay there, Anna, and it looked to me like they were all getting pretty frustrated. So to fast forward now a couple of kilometres and see them all working together, there's nothing going on in the chat. Seems like they've found their flow. They've all kissed and made up, and they've got a decent gap here. So about 12 seconds back to the chasing crew.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they've kissed and made up. I think they're probably just a little bit, oh, wait, no, we're seeing some comments coming again. Ed, no slacking. So O'Connell here, Paul O'Connell is a chatty one. He is really chatty. And a sorry there from DPAC. Well, maybe they have kissed and made up. They're the best of friends now. You know, I said it last week, you just have great friendships formed on Zwift. And I think we've got a lovely little one here with WTRL and DPAC. I'm not sure about the ZWC rider. I think they might be a little bit out on the cold, a little bit, you know, got the cold shoulder from the other two. This is, I'm loving this. This is a great way to see a three-man breakaway chit-chat at 5.5 watts a kg.
Yeah, and look, I also think that the other thing is it can be really frustrating, Anna, when you're got really good legs, you're in plumb position in a breakaway, you've got a couple of breakaway buddies, and you feel like they're not pulling their weight. Now, that could be strategy, of course. They may think, oh, hey, I'm just going to sit on this super strong rider. But equally, they may just not really have great legs. It may be taking them a little bit longer to recover. But what they can do is they can check their data. So they can look and go, oh, well, he can't say that he's at his limit and can't pull through because his heart rate's 160, or conversely, perhaps they'd get a little bit more slack if their heart rate looked to be really pushing up and they weren't able to do much. But I think that O'Connell is motivated. He's got pretty good legs. He's certainly pushing that breakaway both in form and in words. So regardless of whether this breakaway stays away, Anna, I think we'll see a lot of O'Connell still to come. So we're going to check in at the finish here of the C Women, and Hamilton from the Fiery Kittens. She is riding away with it, 21 seconds up on Margarita from TBR, sitting in second there, but we have a little bunch of two with Courtney, BRT rider, so they'll have a bit of a sprint amongst themselves. But Hamilton, she has had a very impressive ride. To ride away solo on a course like this certainly shows she's got very strong legs for the Fiery Kitten.
Yeah. This is Jessica Hamilton, so another Kiwi, I do believe. Yes, she's from New Zealand. An FTP of 302 watts, and she's obviously using that to her advantage at the moment and going away on a big solo effort. 25 seconds ahead of Margarita from TBR behind her. That is phenomenal that she's broken that off there. I wonder where she managed to get away. That's I've never seen that on this course, to be able to have that much of a gap coming into the finish. And, she's riding now at, a nice sort of cruisy 2.5 watt a kg because she's got such a huge lead. This is the way you kind of want to finish races, you don't have to sprint, you don't have to raise the heart rate too much, you can just roll your way into the finish line and take maximum points.
Well, sometimes you can get a break like this just from sheer power, but other times a well-timed attack can really break the spirit. So finishing now, and Hamilton, Kiwi for the win. It's a good night for the Kiwis. Here, Anna, what do they think? It's the Bledisloe Cup or something? The poor Aussies. Although I might note that we did win the rugby last week, even if we won't next time. So Hamilton took the win here. We've got a nice sprint finish happening here between Courtney and Margarita, but Courtney has accelerated away. I actually think that this downhill sprint catches some of them because Margarita had a late push there, didn't quite make it, but riders seem to be going a little bit early. Because the riders in the slipstream are often catching back up. Mel Small is coming in for We8 the Cake along with her teammate Reed. And they were sprinting for the finish, but they are teammates, so good on them.
Yeah, and you're right there, Katie, with that finish. Like I said, it's tricky because it goes to -2%, and you're totally right. You can't go too early because the momentum on that downward slope is just huge for the riders going back, behind. This is another TBR Smile On rider, Estelle here. We'll just follow these riders coming in for a little bit more before we shoot on over to the men's race, where we had a very chatty front group of three, and we'll see if the friendship's still there or if anyone's broken off the back. And nope, 3 strong. They're still working together. Only 4 seconds ahead though, so it looks like they're going to get caught. And that group, Relentless, Grosicki there, he's pushing it up already. They're at this huge 12% grade here. There he went on the pink Tron bike. Grosicki just absolutely drilled it past that group, and he's got a bit of daylight now. Danger man.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure they did smoke the peace pipe in that front group, Anna, because that came back really quickly. And I do think that O'Connell has really good legs because look at him. He's still up there. But Sam Lindsay, this is your secret little pick for a double Kiwi win. He is hot on the heels of Grosicki. These pair went over the top together last time. Altogether, Sam Lindsay had a bit more of a gap, and Grosicki has taken a bit more of an aggressive stance on this lap because, of course, we know, Anna, that the chances of them staying away across the top here aren't that high. It is a very fast descent in this final 8K and then to the flat at the finish, but they can really make a lot of gaps and make the group a lot smaller than it was. So Grosicki and Lindsay, they're pulling the strong turns at the front there. Duffy Jr. from Relentless, he's leading the peloton behind. It does look to be a bit of a gap, but it's only a couple of seconds, and I don't think they're going to make this. I don't think they're trying to make a breakaway over here. They're just pushing hard and testing some legs.
I think so, and I think they're probably looking for those points at the top of the climb. You had Lindsay take out those points on the first lap, so he probably wants to see if he can get 2 from 2. The rider I'm interested in though now, who is just rolling in there, you can see in the blue, is our professional rider Turek. And looking at some of his stats, he has won multiple mountain classifications in the real world in the pro cycling peloton. So he's one to watch because I don't think that this climb is taking it out of him as much as it may be the other riders. You can see he's just moved to the front there, around 8.8 watts per kg, but he's riding a lovely factor bike there. I haven't seen one of those in game for a while. And we've got the ZWC rider Tanaka coming through at the end. They're just approaching this KOM, and it looks like Tanaka from ZWC will roll over with maximum points. But Turek, maybe a bit of a rider to watch here. It's always good to see a actual professional coming through into this virtual world. And Duffy, third place from Relentless, with Lindsay in fourth. So, it could be a little bit of a break here because they have got 6 seconds back on Watanabe from ZWC and Stinger, and another rider there from Japan from World Elite Zwifters, Yama, and Power, one of our great riders from the scratch race around Richmond. They're now 4 or 5 seconds back. So this has blown it up. This group, if they stay together, not this group, this is the Chasers, the lead group, they may stay away because they've got some heavy hitters.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Duffy Jr. I know that he's got a really good turn of speed at the end, but he's been climbing really well. We did chat about the fact that these steep inclines sometimes do favour the power riders a little bit more than the straight climbers, but it really depends actually how the climb is ridden, and it looks like Duffy Jr.'s playing a very, very smart game. When you see the power tuck, we know that they're not pedaling. You don't generally do that on a trainer unless you're a little bit fatigued. The reason I'm going to say that, Anna, is because you run the risk of your legs dying a little bit. I, for one, was not a rider who ever really freewheeled too much because I'd lose a little bit of juju in my legs. And so I think whenever I see that, I think, are they a little bit desperate for a bit of a break? Is that what they're doing in this power tuck? So it's happening a lot in that front group, not as much in that second chasing group.
Yeah, but that there was a comment that just came up there from Power, who I did say was a very good rider from our last scratch race. He's just saying, come on, guys, let's work, and then pushed his power up to around 7 watts a kg. So this chase group is highly motivated, and they're only 4 seconds back now. But Turek, our in-real-life professional for Israel Cycling Academy, moving to the front here into that super tuck, but it's very hard to stay with that tuck. They're just going down to the flat area now where they'll hit the rolling hills, but also I believe straight into almost the second sprint stage for those very valuable points. So we've got 2 very motivated groups. This group wants to stay away and get maximum points over the sprint, but this chase group here, they're desperately trying to get in, and they're just about hitting the sprint. This one kind of goes down a bit and then up, so it is a little bit of an uphill sprint, just a tiny bit. And you can see here you've got Turek leading them out, and a big open up here from IKD from ZWC with the aero helmet. That's going to give him an advantage, and he is pulling away 11 watts a kg. He will have that. Looks like Duffy in second, and Lindsay, more points for him in third.
Yeah, it's interesting because overall, Anna, I'd say that the points have been fairly evenly distributed. There hasn't been one rider like we saw in the women taking all of them. We can also see that second group with Watanabe rejoining the group here. Looks like he's going straight past. That's such a classic move. I got to say, the catch the bunch, ride straight past and hurt some legs. So good on him. That shows quite a lot of personality. So gold star effort there. But this changes the dynamic of the group because all of a sudden we've got over 10 riders. That's not just that 5 anymore, and we're pretty likely that they'll all come to the finish together. There's about 5 kilometres or just under left to ride, and we might get some isolated attacks. Again, Anna, I can't say strongly enough, I don't want to see anybody riding to the front and just upping the tempo. At this point, that's not going to do anything except take a lot of cream off the topping for them. What I want to see is somebody get out of their seat, massive acceleration, and see if they can get away. If that's not going to happen, I think that it's all about timing, because in the women's A and the women's C, we saw that the riders who were going a bit early, they were actually being caught out doing that. I mean, is that something that when you've ridden around this course so many times on your own, is that something that you imagine just from riding around here, Anna, or has that caught you by surprise a little bit?
Yeah, this it is a hard finish. Not hard on the legs so much because it is a bit downhill, but it's really hard to time it right. And I'm just looking at the power stats here, and if these guys have done their homework, then they're going to know that the K Power Rider, he's got over 1,000 watt sprint, 15-second sprint on him, as does Scott Cantanazaro from Relentless, and also Zaki Yama from World Elite Zwifters. So they should know that those are the three danger players. As we see power here, going off the front of it, which I would suggest probably not to. If you've got those kind of watts in a 15-second sprint, you should just really be holding on, sitting in the pack, saving energy, and really unleashing. But with 4 kilometers to go, they're going to start looking around and they're going to know those high watt riders. You don't want them there at the finish. So if you're a lower watt rider with that 15 second, maybe a Duffy from Relentless, push ahead. Maybe you try and have the breakaway, have people chase you, and then set up one of your teammates to take the sprint at the end.
Well, and if we look on the right of screen, that's where we can see the order that the riders are in, and it does change frequently in this bunch. But we'll notice that they're starting to bunch together in teams. The DPAC riders, the ZWC, the Relentless, they are starting to get organised as they come into this final run. I think that Relentless are in the box seat because Duffy Jr. is clearly on very good form, as is Grasicki, who's had some massive attacks with big power that has done quite a lot of damage. And they've also got Cantanazaro there, who week on week is super reliable. That is a really strong team. That being said, DPAC each week have been getting better, and I think we've also seen Sam Lindsay have some really good shining form today. Not necessarily the rider that we would pick in a bunch kick, Hannah, but this isn't a normal bunch kick. It's been a pretty hard 31k so far of racing, 40 odd minutes. They're going quick. He's had some pretty stinging attacks. He might be one to watch in this finish as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think, Relentless, they want to get as many riders in that, points, the higher point standings as they can. But I think if I was them, setting up Scott Cantanazaro, who's got that wattage for 15 seconds of 1,037, that's insane. That's one of the fastest we see out here. But I'm just seeing also Mon Rich from ZWC, also a very high raw output of over 1,100 watts. So that's another danger person to watch here. This is going to be one high-powered sprint at the end as they're rolling around here at 55k an hour. Oh, this is I don't even know who to put my money on. It's just going to be every man for himself, I think, at the end, and who can ever time it right and who's got the best power up.
Yeah, they certainly do need to time it right, because I think timing is everything coming into this finish. They're moving quickly. They're over 50k an hour, but their heart rates aren't particularly high. If we're looking at Turek here, the IRL professional, and his heart rate's 127. He could probably afford to text at this point and write a few heartfelt messages to the rest of the bunch if he wanted to. I'd love to see. Okay, so over to Stinger now. His heart rate is more where we'd expect it to be, and Rich, he's still pretty low, around the 140 mark. So there's actually quite a lot of different stories going on in this bunch, Anna. They're not all at the limit by any means, but when it comes down to a fast, slightly downhill sprint, just because you have a low heart rate doesn't mean you'll be able to pump out those watts at the end.
Yeah, I have not seen a heart rate that low at this stage of a race, and a race of attrition, down at the 127s. That's basically a zone 2 warm-up. So that's going to be, I think that was Churuk, right? So you got to say you've got to put the money on him to have the best legs at the finish. He just seems like he's out for a Sunday coffee ride. But we do see again here a few little digs off the front with Morgan from DPAC putting in a little attack here, around 7 watts a kg. Hasn't really held on to it though, so not sure what the strategy is here. Maybe they're coming in and setting up their team for something. They've got a few, like I said, K Power, amazing power, so he's got a great last name there. Heading into the last sort of 1,500 meters of this race, it just kicks up a little bit, then mostly flat or downhill all the way leading into the finish. Now, will we see another DPAC rider attack over the top? That's what I want to see. Are they doing a bit of a 1-2 punch? No, it's O'Connell again, the chatty rider from our breakaway of 3, just moving ahead there with Watanabe now from ZWC. So there's a lot of movement happening in this pack with 1400 to go. They're not sitting in. There's some definite little digs.
Well, Turek's only a 900-watt sprinter, so he may be fit as a fiddle, and certainly still breathing easy at the moment, but I'm not sure that he necessarily has that horsepower if he isn't in a plum position. So far, he's in a pretty good spot, but Relentless, they're smart. Week after week, they show us just how smart they are, and they've arrived with riders absolutely on form. O'Connell, now, he's a bit of a sneaky, Anna, because we know that he's got good legs, and we've seen that he's a little bit frustrated with how things have gone so far. So he might pull something out of the bag in this finale if he's given the right set of circumstances by following the right wheels. I'll notice that he's stuck like glue to Sam Lindsay at the moment, which isn't a bad one to do. But Morgan, he was also in that breakaway. He's also got pretty good legs. So they're coming right into the finish here, Anna, about to hit over this tiny little rise, and then that false flat into the finish. Power up starting to be dropped, and we've seen
Oh
some
yeah,
acceleration off the front here
Grosicki,
now
love
by
it.
Grosicki.
Oh, this is amazing. This is our man. 12 watts a kg, I think, hitting up around 13 actually with Rich, though. I saw him hanging out the back. This is an early attack from these guys, and it looks like Rich going over the top from ZWC, a drafting power up, not even an aero. This is a long range attack as we see some little chasers coming in now. Churik, our low heart rate rider, our professional rider, he's really pulling in now. That was too early from those riders, too early from Grosicki, but maybe he was setting up Duffy, because off Duffy, I think that was Duffy. I think Duffy came through. I think Grosicki was setting him up. Amazing team playing there. I think we'll see a replay. That was just phenomenal. That was an early attack by Grosicki. I think he was setting up his rider Duffy, because it looks like Duffy took that out. And if he was, congratulations, Relentless. That was some teamwork to the max.
Well, they've done. Grosicki made that early move, and we thought he's gone too early, but he set Duffy Jr. up absolutely perfectly to make that late run. Oh, look at that, and late it was, aided by a power up in those closing meters. And Duffy Jr., he takes the win for Relentless ahead of Clues Proctor and Power. Beautiful name for a sprinter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Coming across the line for Deepak. Deepak also a very, very good outfit and very good race out there today, but Relentless. And often, Anna, we think about sprint lead outs and we imagine the Tour de France with 6 riders all in a line. But the way Grosicki made that early attack is actually a really, really good way to put Duffy Jr. In the perfect prime position. And so a very smart ride. By then, there's only so much of a lead out you can do with 3 riders. So now we are looking at Prinsloo just coming into the finish here. It's a small group of 4, which is a little bit different to what we just saw with that big bunch, but they also need to be very careful not to sprint too early, like we've been wondering in those other rides. So this is the B men coming into the finish now with 4 at the front, and they're a couple of kilometres from the finish.
Small group of 4, so this has been a very different race to the A category, very different. So a little select group of 4, a dirt rider, a vision rider, TBR, and the rest of the group, they'll be just taking this ride and then we'll see them pop up again. A couple of Zwift employees actually from ZHQ Ravens, they're about 5th, I think, down on the team standing, so good for them to have 2 in the top 10. Oh, actually, maybe they did in there a little, looks like it moved around a little bit, but yeah, very different. You've got a group behind about 10 seconds back or 15 seconds back as well, which is the main pack. So this group, I would say, probably got away on that second climb and managed to keep their distance. A little bit about Dirt, actually. I love this crew. Dad's Inside Riding Trainers. And you'll see there, it's the second rider on that yellow Tron. They've got a great team kit. And a little bit at the back, instead of where you'd put your gels, there's a baby bottle. So it's a bunch of guys. I think they're, over 500 strong now, or actually way more than that. My husband's a member of the crew, and I know a lot of guys just love the team atmosphere of this group. There we go, nice close up. So there's the baby's bottle. So Dad's Inside Riding Trainers, absolutely love this group, and great to see one of their riders, in contention to take out the bees.
Oh, look, there's all sorts of paraphernalia that comes with indoor trainers, fans that are set to go harder when you're riding harder. I wonder if there's a bouncer yet, Anna, that you can pop a baby in and it bounces slightly faster when the baby gets less patient
I've got to
with the
say,
Zwifting. But
the white
seriously, it's
noise.
awesome to see them out there. Yeah, it's a
It
winner,
is,
isn't
and the
it? So
white
they've got
noise
less
from a
than a
trainer.
K to go. And and look, I think Dad's Inside Riding Trainers is one of the best names we've had to date. I mean, close to We Ate the Cake. There's some very creative naming conventions going on. But again, look at the Tron bikes here. That means over 50,000 meters of vertical climbing. So all of these riders that we're seeing, they've got them inside. This might be a little bit too late, but this second group is certainly coming up fast to those leading four. And it is a big pack too, and they are hoofing it along, picking up pace. We're watching Burlace from Evo here. Quite a big group. Look, they're not working as fast. They're not riding as fast as they could because they are still blobbing together. And I'm not sure that they will make this because they are inside the final run now in this false flat. Don't go too early. We've seen in the women's and the men's A divisions that mistake has almost been made, Anna, because it's a pretty tough false flat down finish and a little bit hard to read.
Yeah, and I think you end up just getting a bit carried away because I think you can see the finish line for a lot longer than when you actually arrive. So you sort of see it and you go, okay, I'm going to go now. And it's just a bit too early. As we see this B group open up, and it looks like a cryogen rider here, Paul has really opened up 10.5 watts a kg as he pushes ahead on that great pink Tron bike with Vision JB closing it in. And he's gone a little bit early, so we'll see. Like I said, it goes into this big long -1% grade, and I think people just get a bit carried away because you see Crofts there from Dirt Racing with the drafting power up catching up pretty quick. Aero power up now though being dropped by Vision rider JB here, and that is a perfect time. I think he's going to take this out. He's just coming up. There we go, the Vision rider in first. It looked like our Dirt rider was in third there, so that was an Aero rider now in that chase pack, opening up with a huge amount of power there. So it looks like he came in fifth. So great sort of chase amongst the second pack there to have that motivation when you're not going for the win. That was a very impressive finish.
Yeah, well, you've got to finish it off, don't you? I do love the spirit that they sprint for every place because, whether they're sprinting for the win or not, it is an opportunity to learn how to sprint within a bunch on Zwift. So good on them, certainly, for doing that. And we saw in every division